Hi, in the second part of the video, I would be covering inheritance and polymorphism. But before we set ahead with explaining the inheritance and polymorphism and what they are and showing you some examples, I would like to quickly discuss the setter and the getter method. So as I said before, these are the getter and the setter method is mainly used in Python. And it means that you are setting an attribute to a value or finding out the value of the attribute. So basically it's like an input statement and a print statement without using those keywords, obviously. So by get and set method, you can change the value of an attribute, which means the programmer who has defined the object in a class cannot directly access or change the attribute of the object without using the getter and the setter method. So that's kind of, it is promoting data hiding. It is promoting encapsulation. Nobody should be able to just go and say, for example, name equals ABCD. Nobody should be able to do that. So you need to have a get and set method set in the as methods in the class definition. So you can set, you have to say, for example, do public procedure set color. So for the particular attribute color, you have said set color. What is the color? You passed a parameter called dog color. Then you are setting the value of color to dog color. And similarly, if you want to find out what is the value of an attribute, you can create a get method called get color and then return the value of the color. Okay, so there are three things that you're doing. The first one, you are initializing the values, which is using the constructor, or where we use the new keyword. Second, and the third thing is you're finding one, you can change the value by using a set method of an attribute. You can change the value of an attribute by using the set method, and you can find out what is the current value of the attribute by using the get method. Okay. Remember, they also need to be defined as methods of a class, otherwise you can't use them. You will be completing worksheet task 1. I would say, rather than just writing the pseudocode, program them. Try to program the same in Java, because that's what I have been asking you to do. Do the same program. I've already uploaded the Python programs, so you can refer to the Python programs, or if you want, you can just quickly go ahead and code it yourself. But I would also like you to code the tasks, the similar tasks that you're doing in Python in Java as well. If you do have any problems, do ping me on Google Classroom, please. Okay, so summary so far is we have learned about what is a class, what is an object, we've learned about constructor, you have learned about how to instantiate object, which is creating an instance of a class. Okay. Now we come to a very important part, which is called inheritance. So the classes, by definition or by the nature of it, it has a lot of similarity in with the real life objects. Okay, that's the whole point of it. So in real life as well, you can define a hierarchy of any object. So if you are in a Ruislip High School, everybody is a teacher, but under the teachers, you can have different subject teachers. Then you can either define a class by subject, or you can define the role in the school. So there are normal teachers, then there are, say, the members of the senior leadership team, then there is head teacher as well. So what the class teacher is the overall object, is the parent class. Then as you go down, the child classes have got more specific attributes or methods that are limited to that child class, but that doesn't mean that it cannot take attributes from the teacher class. So you get the idea. So inheritance, it's a really important feature of OOP, and it basically helps you to reuse. So programming is all about being able to reuse code. So inheritance enables you to reuse code. Over here in this example, they have used a pet class. Okay, so a pet class, everything is a pet. What can be, what you can keep as a pet. Pet class has attributes, which is what type of pet is it, what is the name of the pet, what's the color, and the methods are the pet eats, they can make noise, and they can move. So the pet is the superclass. And then the child classes, pet is the superclass or the parent class. We can also say subclass or a child class. They could be cat, dog. And the thing is, now the best part about this is, think about it. Once you have defined the cat and dog, both can be pets. All these attributes are common to cats and dogs. In addition to that, yes, cats and dogs can have different methods, additional attributes, but all the attributes from the pet class, which is the type, name, color, and the methods, which is eat, make noise, and move, are still valid for the child classes of cat and dog. Okay, so that means we don't have to redefine all the methods or the attributes that are in the animal class or the pet class. You can add extra attributes. Now, this is one important bit, and you will be asked in the exam as well, where you will be asked to create an inheritance diagram. Clearly note the arrows, okay? It does not go the other way around. The arrow always points to the parent class. It is never the other way around. So this diagram clearly shows that cat and dog are the child classes, the parent class animal. Another common terminology which I have used before is you can hear that superclass and subclasses. This exactly means the same thing. So superclass / parent class or subclass / child class. They can be used interchangeably. So don't worry if you see any other form. They also mean exactly the same thing. And if you write in the exam, you would not be marked out for that. So another inheritance example, I would ask you to go through this example as well as look at the Python example of this. I'm not going to go to this slide. Now, the way you write it in Python, again, and in your the way that OCR wants you to write is class puppy inherits dog. So can you pause the video and think about which is the parent class here and which is the child class? Okay, good. So class puppy is the child class. Where does it inherit from? It inherits from the class dog, which means that is the parent or the superclass. Okay, so it has got its own. The class puppy has got shoes chewed. So obviously a full-grown dog hopefully does not chew any shoes. It's only the puppies that chew shoes. So they have got this extra attribute which is shoes chewed. Anything else? Any other, like the dog has got a name, a color, and a constructor which is setting the new value called new, is exactly the same. Okay, so you can also add some further methods to the class puppy, which is fine. I will give you further examples as well. Let's go through this. I would ask you to do task 2 now. You can pause the video, carry on the task 2. As before, try to do the programming in both Python and in Java. Right, so as I was discussing to show you the inheritance, so here we are. I have designed a class called teacher. The designation is obviously a teacher. That one, if this one is a super class, so class teacher is a super class. What do they do? So void doesn't return anything. That means it is void. It's not returning me anything. It's just printing out that the main task of the teacher is teaching. And the college name or the school name is Rice High School. We'll change this. And then I have defined another class called maths teacher. So maths teacher extends teacher, where their main subject is maths. You can think of Mr. Hankin maybe. Now in the main program, what I have now done, see, I have created or initialized a new object, maths teacher, object, new object, maths teacher. So math teacher is the new object for math teacher class. Then I have obj object is the new teacher for math teacher class. I'm sorry. Can do object 1 just to make it easy. So object 1 for college, it will, what do you think it will give? So you are using the attribute college or school, because we change this, we will have school here, to from the main class, from the super class, designation from the main class as well, from the super class, and main subject is from the subclass. Okay, so if I run this program, oops, it gave me some sort of error message. I guess it didn't like the obj1 thing, so I had to change it back to object obj, which means if I run this now, as you can see, if I run this again, it basically, it has given me that it's being able to show Rice High School teacher and maths teaching. Okay, so all it is doing is, this is a way to show that how the attributes from the superclass can be used in subclass. If you remove this, the extends teacher, and then you can try to do that, obviously it will give you some error message. If you try to do that, class teacher, okay, now if I am expecting some sort of error message where it will say it does not recognize that attribute. So see, it says undefined. So that's the method does is undefined. For the simple reason, because this is treated as a different class and this one is treated as a different class. So that's in Java. You can do the same in Python using the programs I have uploaded. Okay, so the last 2 minutes of the video is about polymorphism. I wouldn't ask you to do any polymorphism examples today because it will need a little bit more practice. If you can do it, that's excellent. So polymorphism is nothing which is again trying to reuse the methods, but what you are doing is in inherited class you can redefine the method that are different. It can have the same name as the parent class method, but you can add or delete any parameters, how that method behaves. You can change all of that by keeping the same name. Okay, so in the example here, they have redefined in the subclass puppy, they have redefined the method bark. So obviously a big dog, a grown-up dog would say woof, instead a puppy will say yap instead of woof. Okay, so you are keeping the method name the same. You are in a way overriding the existing method from a superclass to have to be reflected in the subclass. How will you think